Good afternoon. Welcome to English Language Arts today. We have a really full period today, and we're going to begin as we always do. When you enter the room, you know that this anticipatory set, bell ringer, is going to be on the board. So you should have read this as you entered the room. And I'm going to ask an individual, I need a helper to be able to share this with me. Please read the item. Okay, Cameron, thank you.
What does the simile in the text suggest? A simple change of scenery can be like an ice-cold lemonade on a warm summer day.
Now, two choices here, Cameron. In alignment to 7th grade, interpreting figures of speech, which of these two do you think is more effective in describing what this simile suggests?
I believe it's the first one. Okay. Spending time in a different place is refreshing.
Okay, let's see. How many agree with Cameron? And how many disagree? Well, looks like everybody's with you, okay? You, at this point, you're correct. Yeah, that is going to be an authentic item aligning to the use of figures of speech. So let's go back to our objectives and let's look at what we want to achieve today and check the alignment to make sure that what we're doing is going to build towards the TDA concept. So our essential question, what skills regarding reading comprehension are required for PSSA assessment? We are going to get into this today and really build upon the first objective, what you've done for today as you entered the classroom. Again, the objective to read, analyze, and interpret the passage. You read and should have thoroughly read The Lady or the Tiger by Frank Stockton as a short story for today. And that's going to be the basis for the work that we are going to continue to generate. We are going to apply the graphic organizer, and we're going to look at that TTE method as we have multiple times throughout the year in order to facilitate the opportunity for you to be able to use that graphic organizer to find success with identifying the task, presenting text, and then fully extending it. So I'm going to allow you an opportunity to collaborate using that graphic organizer as well with a partner. And then finally, our goal is we are going to progress to generate an authentic TDA. And that authentic TDA is something we could submit for assessment as an authentic assessment. So the standard alignment, as you know, we mention this on a daily basis, 1.37b in the alignment to generating the TDA, and 1.57a, and we're going to have you collaborating today. You're going to get a chance to be able to communicate with one another. So what I'd like to do before we go back and look at the actual TTE method yet again, as we've utilized throughout the year, is to examine our graphic organizer, our TDA graphic organizer, which is essentially pre-writing. If you want to correlate it to 1.5 in terms of the Common Core, and look at it as the writing process as well, the 5-step process advocated by the PDE. So the TTE, we are always going to look at first addressing the task. So you are going to attempt to address this task as you progress through this based upon the reading. Think of it as an element of introduction, your focus, your thesis. And when I share this with you, this is where I always manufacture the big T. Okay, I mentioned about the concept of it being the task. After you believe you've read the TDA and you've addressed that task, that's when we're going to move into taking the opportunity to pull some text successfully and use this text as a basis for your response. So we are going to pull an example of text and then we are going to extend it. We are going to present a second example of text and extend it. And then in this case, a third example of text and extend it. Now, before I get to the PowerPoint, and you have all this on your Google account, on your Chromebooks, I want you to make sure that you remember, and I tell you this all the time, when you are authentically assessing, picture the TTE method. Picture me standing in front of you saying, first address the task. The big T, always start with the task. You have to address it and restate it. Then you want to present a piece of text. And take that piece of text, just as our graphic organizer allows us to do, and extend that piece of text. As you present your next piece of text, you're going to extend that as well. And finally, your third piece of text, you're going to extend continually. Again, this is all review for you. You've reciprocated this process many times throughout the year. So I think of it as we always mention, doing a full push-up. So you address that big T, present that text, and then fully extend. More text, extend. More text, extend. So it's almost like a full push-up. Okay, we don't want to stop short. We want to make sure that we fully extend. And then finally, if you've made it that far, you're probably going to have a lot of success. We are going to be able to move down to the final component, which is we're going to generate a conclusion, restate our thesis, and we've worked on that throughout the year as well. So this will eventually be our our TDA, and we'll come back to this in a moment, we're going to go to the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to have one of you actually read this so that we can begin to go back to that graphic organizer and do some collaboration. So we're going to go to the PowerPoint at this point, and we are going to start back on slide 1, and we are going to look at this. We've utilized this multiple times throughout the year, and as the technology loads for us, just want to, again, take you back through. How can I use the TTE method to successfully respond, again, to a TDA or demonstrate elements of comprehension? Well, 1.37b, that's our specific alignment here. Cite several pieces of textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly. The two big words we need to make sure we use to fully extend would be inferences and conclusions. Inferences and conclusions. That's how we're going to be able to achieve that full extension. So let's look at it again. You're familiar with this paper because I have a 4-foot size rubric hanging on my wall that we reference nearly daily, and everyone knows we're shooting for the performance level 4, okay? Thinking of this as our below basic, proficient, advanced performance level. We're looking at the bulleted items that constitute a 4. This is always visible for your reference, and it is an invaluable tool for you to achieve success. So as we get down to the TTE method, remember, it's broken down into the task, text, and extension. Break that down into the task. Step 1, this is the big T, to address the task. I need a volunteer to be able to share this, the bullet points underneath this. Thank you, Cameron.
Step 1, restate prompt aligned to the text, and stay focused to the task or the thesis.
Yeah, you want to make sure you keep that concept of the 5 characteristics of effective writing with focus there. You're establishing your focus when you're addressing the task, but make sure you restate the prompt as needed. Well done, thank you. The second step, provide text examples. This is where we're going to cite specific examples from that text, and these are going to be needed to support our task. So using multiple examples of clear text evidence that supports our task will make us successful. And then finally, the extension part, the full push-up. Extend your text, okay? And I'm going to need a volunteer as well to read these 3 bullet points for me as well. Thank you, Cameron.
Step 3, extend each example from the text to support your focus. Apply inferences and conclusions in each extension. Individualize each piece of text separately but within the overall focus.
And remember, excellent, again, the key here, inferences and conclusions. We are going to extend to tie everything back. Task, text, extend, okay? Full push-up. So finally, I always recommend utilizing the PDE's writer's checklist. And remember, this is a checklist of bullet points that you're going to be able to reference. And in doing so, not only is this going to help you as you progress, you are going to be able to use this checklist to see if you successfully completed the expectations. So lastly, but definitely obviously not the least of importance, is going to be our actual TDA on the Microsoft Word document. So we're going to go back to the Microsoft Word document at this point, and I want you to actually see this TDA. And then I'll explain the task, how you're going to collaborate as the technology is loading for us here. We are going to go back to the TDA authentically. In a moment, you and your partner, okay, at your pair share, will have an opportunity to pair share at your seats. And the two of you will use that graphic organizer that we referenced, we've utilized throughout the year, and you're going to put your thoughts together and try and generate some elements that you think would successfully complete the graphic organizer in alignment to this TDA. Once again, I need a volunteer, please, to read this TDA to us, and we are going to break that down then. Okay, Cameron?
Text-dependent analysis for The Lady or the Tiger. In The Lady or the Tiger by Frank Stockton, the author reveals elements of characterization through the many emotions of the characters. Read an essay analyzing how these emotions reveal specific characteristics of a character in the story. Use evidence from the story to support your response.
Thank you. So once again, the task at hand, and you're going to have 7 minutes to do this. Okay, and then we are going to bring it back in, we're going to report out, we're going to revisit our objectives and see if we've been able to accomplish today the expectation of what I asked you to try and strive to do to get to the point where we could actually start generating our authentic assessment, our TDA. So again, you and your partner in a moment are going to use your Chromebooks. You are going to bring forth your actual graphic organizer and feel free to enter what thoughts you can generate in each of these areas. Remember, task, okay, address that task, present text, as we want 3 pieces of text, and then extend each of those 3 elements. So I'm going to give you the 7 minutes to collaborate momentarily. After, when I say go and you have those 7 minutes, I would like to hear some of the thoughts. We're going to do some reporting out. You and your partner are going to share some of the task, text, and extension elements that you think that you've been able to generate so that we can see successfully if we would be able to start generating a TDA tonight, at least the beginning stages of it for homework. And then after you report out and we bring this back in together, we will revisit our objectives to bring some closure. And again, I would like you to be able to share at the end of the period with the closure a TILT statement today. TILT, again, the acronym for things I learned today. I'd like you to be able to share something with me as we randomly will choose an individual to share a thought before we exit the classroom and see how much we've achieved. So you and your partner may get started now.